Hope you guys are doing all right. There's not like a message behind this video or like a plot. I just wanted to talk to you all. I think not posting regularly is kind of indicative of, it kind of makes people feel like I gave up, probably, or like I'm not playing the game. It's actually like quite the opposite. I've been playing a lot more than I was before, but almost to my like detriment. Like I'll play like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours a day, but I'd say only maybe 30 minutes to an hour are really constructive. Like the rest of the time is me trying to calm myself down, or like me trying to revisit things that I already know, which is not good. Like, you guys remember I had that journal and I had like those notepads that I was writing out of all these things that I was trying to tell myself to think and like figure out. That stuff is helpful in the moment, like when you're feeling it. I think it's helpful to write it out and like read it back maybe once or twice, but to read it back like every single day, I feel like it loses its meaning a little bit. And then you start to just tell yourself words, you know? Like, I'll write a note that says just focus on the game, and then every moment that I'm playing the game the next day, I'll be like, just focus on the game. Like, that's all that's going through my head. And I learned that it's not very constructive to do that. It's like telling yourself to breathe, or it's like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try to fall asleep, the harder it is to fall asleep. It's the same thing with like focusing on the game, or like focusing on what the other person's doing. It becomes harder the harder you try. I really realized it when I was like telling myself to pay attention, but I'm already paying attention. Like, there's nothing else going on. Like, why am I telling myself this shit? And you're like constantly telling yourself to pay attention to the point where you're not even like paying attention. Like, you're like, you're not even taking a look at what's happening on the screen or what the other person's doing. You're just so far in your own head about what you think you should be thinking about that it becomes this stupid like meta game in your own brain, and it's really hard to play like that. And it's, for me, it's like all rooted in this idea of you just need to trust yourself and play the game. Like, that's what I need to do. So in order to do that, I keep telling myself to focus, or I keep telling myself to pay attention, which is the opposite of like trusting yourself. You know, like if you're constantly trying to reassure yourself that you need to be looking at the screen, that's not trust, right? That's you like trying to brute force something. So instead of like writing these damn paragraphs on the tops of my Google Docs where I have like my matchup notes and stuff, like character notes, I would always like write in bold. I would write like these paragraphs of like what I need to tell myself when I load into the game. I just deleted all that shit. I just deleted all that shit, and I wrote in its place, I just wrote chill. I just wrote like chill out. That has probably done more good for me in the past 4 months than anything that I've written in the header of any Google Doc. And I think it's like pretty universal advice, because that means something different for everybody else. Chill for me means like stop overthinking everything and like calm down. Don't be scared. That's a big thing that I've been dealing with lately, is like watching my replays back and seeing how scared I am. You know, I play Cammy, and you'll see sometimes I will get a knockdown against somebody and I'll backdash. Like, I won't pressure them because I'm scared they're gonna DP. Or I'll do like a knockdown, I'll do a throw, then I'll shimmy them, even though they've never like they've never shown me that they're going to tech. I'm just so scared that I don't want to be anywhere near them on their wake up while I'm playing Cammy, which is like a ridiculous thing. Or I'll play like super far away. Like, my spacing is awful. I'll play so far away because I don't want to get poked, or I don't want to get hit by a crouch medium kick or something. I'm so scared to take damage that I play Cammy like she's got Dawson's limb. My sense of risk reward is just so skewed. I want to have all of the reward and as little risk as possible, which just isn't like that's not a game, right? There's no back and forth. That's not a game. That's like a one player game. I should play a single player game if that's the case. The other thing it means to me is like to stop telling myself to do things so much, especially things that I'm already doing, like paying attention, or shit that like doesn't need to be said. Who tells himself to pay attention? What are you doing? Or to focus on the game? Brother, what am I doing? I'm manually thinking. That's what I'm doing. I'm manually thinking. All that stuff is like too much. It's too much to be having in your brain when the other guy is across the screen like drive rush, fucking crouch medium kick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just way too much for you to be telling yourself all of these things while the other person is just doing things across the screen and you are not reacting because you're thinking too hard. The game at this point is like 90% mental to me. I'm not saying like I know I don't know all the situations, all the frame data, and all the strings and everything, but those are things that I can go into the lab and figure out. Like, there's a place for me to go and figure that out, and I can look at the replay and see exactly what I need to understand. That's like easy, right? That's like studying. The mental aspect is just like a little bit more abstract. Like, it feels like I'm constantly changing mentally, and it's not for the better a lot of the time. And it has to do with like emotions and like your mental state and like things that you're thinking about, stuff that somebody can't like teach you, because we're all a little bit different. Some people don't struggle with any of the stuff that I talk about. Some people struggle with more than what I talk about, or like some people are similar to me, you know. We're all a little bit different, so there's not like a frame data meter. Like, I can't go in the lab and just study it. I have to figure it out and how it works for me. Also, like, our experience levels are all different. So like I realized recently that I can play neutral like pretty decently without having to think about all of this stuff, right? I've been playing neutral for years. I was talking to Juices about that, like my mentor, and he was like, you know, you've been playing neutral for like 3-4 years now. Like, you can do that pretty what is the word for it? Not like autopilot, but like it's in my system one. Like, I don't need to think about a lot of the things I'm thinking about. I don't need to think about like whip punishing or like anti-airing as much anymore. Like, I just see it and like my hands can do it. Instead, what I need to like figure out more is pressure, right? Because like I said before, I play kind of like a pussy most of the time, and I don't pressure people enough. And when I do pressure them, I don't really pay attention to what they do in response. I just kind of go through the motions, and then it doesn't hit, and then we're back to neutral. And I could win neutral 100 times, but if I can't pressure them once I win neutral, then we're just gonna keep resetting, and I'm gonna have to do like 50 spiral arrows to kill a Marissa. Meanwhile, like, she hits me twice and I'm dead. That's kind of what I've been working on in the game. Outside of the game, I went to a local over here in West Texas recently, and I got like second. And most of the people there, no offense to anybody, but most of the people there don't play Street Fighter. They mostly play like other games, and Street Fighter is their second game. And it kind of feels like, I mean this in the best way possible, okay? I mean that, I don't want to be rude. It's like I'm in the minor leagues, right? Like, I'm in AA and I'm like getting experience. Because when I go to Houston and there's like a lot more competition and a lot of people who play the game as their main game, I am not fighting for like first place. I'm fighting to get in the top 8. And I'm never really the quote-unquote favorite to win, or I'm never in contention to win usually when I did live in Houston, because that's kind of when I started. So it's definitely a different feeling to like show up to the local and be like, oh, I could win. Like, I'm not going to go 0-2 today. I'm gonna be prepared to play like 20 games, and that's like a good. I think that's really good experience to have, because I'm not used to playing that many games in a row in a bracket, and I'm also realizing like how, not fatigued, but like how me not playing the game in long sessions really hurts me in that aspect, because I was in grand finals like what was it? It was like 2 days ago. I was in grand finals and I was one game away from resetting, and I had like a subconscious thought that popped up that was like, damn, if I win this shit, I gotta play another 3 games. I was like, I didn't want to think that, but it just popped in my head, and then I lost, and I was like, I wonder how much that little thought like contributed to me just losing. The other thing was like, by the end of it, I was all the way in like winners finals, and I still was like doubting myself. I was like, I wonder if I'm doing well. Like, I wasn't happy with how I was playing, and I didn't really care too much what I placed. Like, of course I wanted to win, but like by the time I got there, I was like, I haven't been happy with how I'm playing all day. And like in grand finals, I was not happy with how I played, and it really kind of opened my eyes, because I came home afterwards and like watched the VOD by myself, and then I watched the VOD with Juices, and we like went through it, because I don't know, that was like the first time in a while where I genuinely was like, I wanted to get better at this game. Because, you know, all the other times I'm just complaining, but this time I was like, I genuinely wanted to get better, because I was not happy with how it went down. Like, I could have gotten second and played well, and I would have been happy, but I got second and I wasn't happy with how I played, so it was like a double whammy, and it just didn't feel good. But that's kind of where we're at now. I'm in my comeback arc, okay? I'm in my training arc, if you will, and I hope you stick along for the ride, because I'd like to keep posting more. Most of the time, it's not that I don't want to make a video, it's that I don't know what the fuck to post, dude. I have like these grandiose ideas, then I get on the game and I just can't perform while I'm recording. Like, it's really hard for me to like play and talk, or like play consistently. Like, some days I just feel like I play like a completely different person than others, so that's kind of what I'm trying to work on. So it's not that I don't want to talk to you guys and I don't want to make the videos, it's that I just don't know what to post, and I'm having a a tough time figuring it out. But I'm getting closer and closer to kind of being more stable, I guess. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please consider subscribing. We're like 40 subs away from 10,000 still, so I'd really appreciate it. And thanks for giving me your time.